Hello everyone, I'm Mary. Over the past decade or so, I've been practicing medicine, and every day in my clinic, I've encountered many men quietly approaching me and asking, Mary, I just can't seem to get hard enough. How can I improve it? Honestly, when it comes to men's health, length, girth, and size are rarely the primary concerns. I conducted a survey of over 1,000 patients and found that less than 20% of them were concerned about size. The remaining 80% were most concerned with whether their penis was hard enough and whether it could last. Why? Because everyone knows that what truly impacts the quality of our intimate lives isn't the size of the penis, but whether it can function properly. Today, I'll break down the secrets behind erection hardness, providing practical, clinically proven methods. Follow these steps and most of your problems will be solved. First, let's clarify what exactly is an erection. Many people think it's a natural process, but from a medical perspective, it's a sophisticated process involving the coordination of blood vessels and muscles. Our penis hides to key structures called the corpora cavernosa, which resemble to parallel tubes filled with soft, spongy tissue. When you experience arousal, whether through sight, sound, or touch, your brain immediately sends a command to the blood vessels surrounding the corpora cavernosa dilation. Blood then surges into the crevices of the corpora cavernosa like a tide, inflating the previously soft structure. This is the first step toward an erection. But simply having blood flowing in isn't enough. If the blood quickly drains away, the erection won't hold. This is when another key muscle group, the pelvic floor muscles at the base of the penis, comes into play. These muscles act like a spring gate. As blood flows in, they gently contract, closing the exit of the corpora cavernosa and preventing it from escaping easily. Think of it like blowing up a balloon to keep it full and lasting. You not only need to inflate the balloon, but also pinch the opening tightly. Our penis's erection requires the coordinated efforts of blood supply from the blood vessels and blood retention from the muscles. Neither step is sufficient without it. To ensure both steps are successful, the first priority is physical health, especially vascular health. Why are blood vessels so crucial? Because if the blood vessel walls become thicker and more brittle, as in men with high blood pressure and high cholesterol, blood flow to the corpus cavernosum will slow, even becoming blocked like a rusty pipe with a thinner flow. How can the corpus cavernosum be filled? I once treated a 40-year-old man who worked in engineering. He had frequent social engagements, ate a lot of oily and salty meals, and didn't exercise. He came to see me and said, Mary, my erection has been getting worse over the past 6 months. Sometimes I can't get an erection, and when I finally do, it's often within 2 minutes. I had him undergo a lipid profile test and a vascular ultrasound. The results showed plaque in his carotid arteries and elevated blood lipids. I then developed a plan for him: reduce oil and salt intake, increase vegetables and deep sea fish, and briskly walk for 40 minutes 3 times a week. 3 months later, he had a follow-up checkup and his blood lipids had dropped and his blood vessel elasticity had improved. He came back to tell me, I feel better now than when I was 30, and my relationship with my wife is much smoother. So everyone, remember, vascular health is the cornerstone of erectile dysfunction. Eat less fried and pickled foods, limit sugary drinks, and increase your intake of fiber-rich whole grains and vegetables, as well as deep sea fish and nuts that protect blood vessels. These are just health routines. They truly help maintain vascular elasticity. If you already have high blood pressure or high blood lipids, take medication regularly to control them. Don't assume if there are no symptoms, ignore them. The damage these chronic conditions cause to your blood vessels accumulates gradually, and once they affect your erection, it's difficult to manage. The second key point is exercise, not just any exercise. You have to choose the right type of exercise. Many men assume that running is good for your erection, so it's definitely good for your erection. While this is true, it's incomplete. There are 2 types of exercise: and the most effective for erectile dysfunction is a combination of aerobic exercise. Let's start with aerobic exercise, such as brisk walking, swimming, jogging, and cycling. Choose one with a wide seat to avoid pressure on the perineum. These exercises strengthen your cardiopulmonary function, allowing the heart to pump blood more effectively and your blood vessels to become more elastic. Think about it, intimacy is also physically demanding. If you're out of breath after just 2 minutes and your focus is solely on breathing, your erection won't be stable. I have a 50-year-old patient who used to be out of breath, even climbing 3 flights of stairs, and had poor erections. He then briskly walked for 40 minutes every evening for 2 months. Not only did climbing stairs stop him out of breath, but he was also more focused during sex, and his erection naturally improved. I recommend doing aerobic exercise 3 to 5 times a week for 30 to 40 minutes each session. Don't aim for exhaustion to the point of sweating. Just moderate intensity is fine. For example, if you can talk while brisk walking but can't sing loudly, that's just right. Next, let's talk about anaerobic exercise. I especially recommend squats and Kegel exercises. Why are squats so good? It not only works the thigh muscles, but also indirectly stimulates the pelvic floor muscles, the blood-locking muscles we just mentioned. The stronger the muscles, the longer they can lock blood, and the longer lasting firmness. Let me teach you a standard squat form. Stand with your feet shoulder width apart, toes slightly pointed outward. Slowly lower yourself, keeping your knees close to your toes until your thighs are parallel to the ground. Then, slowly stand up. Do 3 sets of 15 to 20 reps each. You may feel some leg soreness at first, but you'll get used to it after a week of practice. There's also a more targeted Kegel exercise, which many people haven't heard of, but it's incredibly effective. It specifically targets the pelvic floor muscles. Contract the muscles as if you're holding back urine. Hold for 3 to 5 seconds, then relax for 3 seconds. Repeat this movement 3 sets daily, 20 repetitions each. You can do it while sitting, standing, or lying down, making it very convenient. I have a patient whose pelvic floor muscles were weakened due to prolonged sitting, resulting in erectile dysfunction. After a month of consistent Kegel exercises, he reported, "I feel my muscles are stronger, and I can hold my erection longer." Don't underestimate this simple exercise. Long-term practice can significantly improve erection hardness and stamina. Besides physiological factors, mental state has a much greater impact on erectile dysfunction than many people realize. In medicine, there's a term called psychogenic erectile dysfunction, which means the body is fine, but it's the mind that's holding it back. I once treated a couple. The man was 35 years old and generally in good health, exercising regularly, but he simply couldn't get an erection during intimacy. After a long conversation, I learned that he was recently experiencing significant pressure from starting a business, and his anxiety kept him awake. He was also having some issues with his wife over preparing for pregnancy, and he felt like, if this doesn't work out, I'll be letting her down. The more anxious he became, the harder it was to get an erection, and the harder it got, the more anxious he became, creating a vicious cycle. I then asked them to put their preparing for pregnancy on hold and instead spend 2 days a week going for a walk or watching a movie together. Instead of talking about children or work, they'd talk about something more relaxing. The man also started meditating for 10 minutes before bed every night to relieve stress. Within a month, he told me, no more anxiety, and things will naturally improve. Therefore, everyone should pay attention to the following psychological states. First, lack of excitement. For example, if you haven't seen your partner in a while, it's natural to feel excited when you reunite. However, if you spend time together every day, the lack of novelty will cause your excitement to wane. At this point, you can try new interactions with your partner, such as changing the environment or doing something new together to gradually regain that sense of freshness. Second, physical fatigue, for example. If you've had sex alone in the morning and then have sex in the evening, your body needs a recovery period, and your erection strength will naturally be affected. This isn't a failure, it's a normal physiological reaction, so don't put too much pressure on yourself. Third, coping mentality. If you're just thinking about getting it over with quickly or getting by without emotional investment, your brain won't send signals of excitement, and your penis won't get hard. Intimacy is a two-person affair. Paying attention to your partner's feelings, communicating frequently, and being genuinely present will lead to optimal results. The other factors that are often overlooked are drugs and alcohol. Many men believe that drinking alcohol can help with pleasure, but this is a misconception. A small amount of alcohol may help you relax, but excessive amounts are a real killer. Alcohol inhibits the central nervous system, preventing the brain's signals of pleasure from being transmitted. Even if you're feeling the desire, your body can't keep up, resulting in either an erection or a rapid softening. More seriously, long-term, heavy drinking can damage blood vessels and nerves, leading to alcoholic neuropathy, which prevents the corpus cavernous from engorging properly with blood. This is no longer a temporary problem, but a fundamental issue requiring treatment. I met a 40 to minus year minus old man who drank half a gin, 100 grams of Baiyu daily for 5 years. He ended up not only having erectile dysfunction, but also developing premature ejaculation. It took 6 months of treatment for him to recover. So, if you want to have a drink to lighten the mood, just get a little tipsy, no more than 1 bottle of beer or 1 or 2 liang, 100 grams of baijiu. Don't drink to the point of feeling dizzy or unsteady, as this will only spoil the fun. Additionally, some medications can affect erections, such as some blood pressure medications, antidepressants, and prostate medications. If you're taking these medications and you're experiencing problems with your sexual function, don't stop or switch them on your own. Be sure to talk to Mary. We will adjust your medication regimen based on your condition, such as switching to a medication with fewer side effects or adjusting the dosage to manage your condition without disrupting your daily routine. Previously, a patient with hypertension and worsening erections after taking a certain antihypertensive medication, I switched him to a different type, and after 2 weeks, he reported that his erections had returned to normal. There's another point that almost everyone overlooks: hydration. You might not realize that hydration also has a relationship with firmness. Because blood is over 70% water, dehydration causes the blood to the corpus cavernosum, much like thick porridge, flows more slowly than water, naturally affecting erections. How can you tell if you're hydrated enough? The most intuitive way is to look at the color of your urine. If it's light yellow, you're drinking enough water. If it's dark yellow or even brown, you're definitely dehydrated and need to replenish your water quickly. As for how much you should drink daily, here's a simple formula: daily water intake, body weight kg x 30 ml. For example, if you weigh 8 kilograms, you should drink at least 2,400 milliliters of water daily. If you're active and sweat a lot, drinking up to 3,000 milliliters is fine. Don't worry about water intoxication as long as your kidneys are functioning properly. Excess water will be excreted through urine and won't accumulate in your body. A special reminder: tea, coffee, and alcohol do not count as water intake. This is because they all have diuretic properties and can actually cause your body to lose more water. For example, drinking a cup of tea may cause you to excrete more water than a cup of tea, and the more you drink, the more dehydration you'll experience. Plain water is the most effective solution. I recommend sipping it slowly and in multiple doses. For example, 300 milliliters upon waking up in the morning, 200 milliliters during a morning break, 200 milliliters after lunch, another 300 milliliters in the afternoon, and 200 milliliters an hour before bed. This ensures adequate hydration without disrupting sleep by waking up frequently. I once had a patient in his 50s who didn't like drinking water, always saying, "I won't drink unless I'm thirsty." He later developed erectile dysfunction. I asked him to follow a water intake formula. 2 weeks later, he came for a follow-up checkup and said, I feel much lighter and my sexual function is much better than before. So don't underestimate the importance of drinking water. Drinking enough water every day is not only good for erectile dysfunction, but also prevents urinary tract infections and kidney stones, and is beneficial to the entire urinary system. Finally, let's talk about the issue of male hormones. Many men think that lack of erectile dysfunction is due to insufficient hormones and seek injections or supplements. This is actually very dangerous. Our bodies naturally secrete the most balanced testosterone, also known as male hormone, like an intelligent regulator, producing only what we need. If you blindly supplement with testosterone injections or pills, your body will think there's already enough testosterone available, so I don't need to secrete it, and this will actually suppress its own secretion. Over time, your testosterone levels will decrease, even reaching zero, eventually requiring constant reliance on external supplements. This can also lead to penis shrinkage. I once treated a 50-year-old man who, following a folk remedy, took testosterone injections for 6 months. As a result, his testosterone levels were practically zero, and his penis became significantly smaller. It took him over a year of treatment before his penis gradually regained its normal production. In fact, the safest way to increase your testosterone levels is through exercise. For example, anaerobic exercises like squats and weightlifting, as mentioned earlier, stimulate the body to produce more testosterone, and this is done on demand, preventing overdose. Getting enough sleep is also crucial, as testosterone is primarily secreted during deep sleep. Staying up late and not getting enough sleep will inevitably lead to a drop in testosterone levels. I recommend getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep daily and try to go to bed before 11 p.m. to ensure normal hormone production. Speaking of this, some men may still be concerned about size. Let me share some international research data. One organization surveyed over 20,000 men and their partners. The results showed that less than 5% of couples cared about size, while over 80% prioritized hardness, duration, and interaction. Another study found that men who exercised regularly, drank plenty of water, and were relaxed were over 3 times more likely to experience normal erectile function than those who were inactive, dehydrated, or stressed. So, there's really no need to worry about size. Size is innate, but hardness can be improved through hard work. Taking good care of your body, drinking enough water daily, exercising regularly, and communicating and nurturing your relationship with your partner are the keys to improving the quality of intimacy. In my many years as a doctor, I've seen countless men anxious about hardness issues. In reality, most of these issues aren't caused by organic problems, but by poor lifestyle habits and high levels of psychological stress. Simply follow the steps discussed today: protecting blood vessel health, maintaining a combination of aerobic and anaerobic exercise, managing your mental state, controlling alcohol intake, and drinking enough water daily, and you'll see significant improvement in 2-3 months. I'm Mary, a urologist specializing in men's health. I help everyone solve these problems every day. If today's content is helpful, please subscribe to my account, like it, leave a comment, share it with friends who need it, and turn on the bell to receive new health information as soon as it's available. If you have any specific questions, please leave a comment in the comment section, and I'll do my best to respond. We'll talk again next time. I wish you all good health and a happy life.